Alright, I'm gonna get started here. This is kind of an impromptu stream. Don't really know how many people will show up, and that's perfectly okay. But I figured I wanted to test stuff. If people stop in and want to offer their feedback while I'm live, that could be an option as well. So, for the version 2.0 release that I have here, I have made a number of changes to quite a number of things. I've changed some of the scaling for both weapons and enemies. So the better stuff should be a little bit more infrequent than the 1.03 version that's up on Nexus right now. I've changed the item lots, or the drop tables that enemies will drop items, so that they will drop more variety of things. What else have I changed? I've added spells as possible drops from enemies, and I think that's the biggest things that I have done. So, yeah, this is just kind of for my own thing. Thanks for all the support on the video. And I'm going to start off as a sorcerer and see how I do. So again, kind of an impromptu stream here on this Saturday morning, but I wanted to play. So let's see what we got here. Increases defense when in danger, lightning damage, and attack. So hopefully... Yeah, thanks for joining. Hopefully all of my params are set appropriately. I tested about through Darkroot, so everything seemed to be working okay. Can't say 100% whether or not everything is, maybe not fixed, but is appropriate. Let's just check all of these just to make sure. So this is damage, so if I put that on, oops, let's probably put it on. Okay, that looks like it's working. This is defense when in danger, so we won't know. Lightning damage, we won't know. And attack, it seems to be working. And then, of course, the broken straight sword does seem to be working as well. I think you had a comment in the Discord, right, about using Mod Manager. Unfortunately, I don't really know how to make it work with that, just because I'm not as familiar with how to do that. From what I can tell, I've opened up some other playthroughs that are using like the base game stuff, and they seem to be okay. So hopefully that if you do have an existing game, even if you accidentally open it, it won't mess up. I'm not 100% sure about that. Feli, thanks for joining. This is a mod that I made. I've been saying it's like Diablo style loot. Based on some of the comments, it's actually probably more close to Nioh? I don't know how you pronounce that game. Where you get a variety of different rarities for weapons. Like we just got the Demon's Great Hammer uncommon. Enemies will be able to drop a variety of different weapons and armor at various rarities, and they will all have different effects. Like here we got a magic small leather shield common, and it increases fire defense, so we can look at our fire defense right now. It's 45. If we go ahead and equip this, we'll see that it jumps up to 65. Christian, thanks for joining. Just saw a reply to a comment on my previous video on this mod. I don't remember exactly what my response was, but I think this is going to be a lot more balanced. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And I'm just kind of checking. So it's been fun. It's been fun. I've played through it. One full playthrough I have played. That's the one I put up on YouTube. I've played through using debug mode. So here we got dark armor uncommon, which is nice. We can probably throw that on. Increases lightning defense. So another thing I did from the one that I put up in the video is I reduced, or I eliminated the weight increase for armor, as it seems like people preferred it to just be at a regular weight. And I figured with changing some of the rates for the drops, I think it was going to be a little bit better. Yes, these spell drops. Hopefully they work. I was having a lot of trouble. Yes, 2.0 should be up on Nexus. That's the one I'm playing. Again, I've tested a lot of it. There still might be an issue here or there, but I think everything should be good. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's not wrong. I think my data has been compromised already. I've used a number of mods here and there, so it's definitely a legitimate consideration with using that stuff. Ooh, increase the stealth. Did I not equip it? So I'm wanting to do a sorcerer build, so that's what I'm doing right now. See, the dagger's just not very strong. One of the issues I was having this morning and last night when I was trying to fix this, I kept offsetting a number by 10,000 instead of 1,000 in one of the files, and I was having a bear of a time trying to figure out what was going on. Yeah, it's fun, I tell you. I'm hoping the balance for 2.0 is a little bit better. If you find that it is maybe a little bit unbalanced, as I'm sure I'll tweak it a little bit more. This is close to where I want it to be. The 1.0 files, I think 1.3 was the last one I put up. I think that one has a couple of issues with some of the names here or there, although I think I fixed most of them in that. But that one, you can get a little bit more powerful. And then assuming everything goes well in this run, I am going to put up a couple of different seeds, like 10 different randomized seeds. And I might include a couple that have like super high drop rates for super rare weapons and stuff. Sounds good. Yeah, I think I'll have to learn how to do mod engine because I want to do this for Dark Souls 3 as well, and I think it'll be very interesting. And I think you need to use, or I think you need to do mods using mod engine for that. And Dark Souls 3, or not Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, I also want to do Elden Ring in this fashion because the way that I was inspired to make this more or less was from the Elden Ring mod. And that is not playable right now. And I don't know if they'll ever come back to it. Hopefully they do. You know, I mean, again, I can totally make this if I find the time, and I hope to find the time sometime to do it. But I think it's been pretty fun. I think this in Dark Souls 3 will be really good. Oh yeah, Graveloader. Yeah, I know that's kind of a New Game Plus thing. I do want to add a couple more New Game Plus effects, maybe a couple like special armor pieces or something. Like maybe I could add a couple of boss drops that are intended for use in New Game Plus, because there is a flag in the game where you can set it so that the effect only applies in New Game Plus. And I have a couple of items in this mod that have effects that are only active in New Game Plus and beyond. They're mostly like I call them meme weapons. For the moment, but I do want to add some legitimate ones, I think, for whatever the finalized version will end up being. And again, I think this is pretty close to where I want the... Ooh, I got a mundane. Yeah, Dark Souls 2. See, Dark Souls 2 is a lot more interesting. So the actual way that I did this mod is just using Dark Souls Map Studio 1.11, I think is the release version for that. And it's really easy because the way that the Dark Souls game files are set up, it's really easy to just make changes in like 5 seconds and then do it. Yeah. But for Dark Souls 2, the game engine is quite a bit different. So for special effects, like all the ring effects, all the magic effects, you have to modify the event scripts. They're called, I don't know if event scripts is the right word, but they are EMEVDs. So it's not as simple as just changing stuff like I can do for Dark Souls 1. So let's see what I got here. Eastern Gauntlets, common, and Robe of the Chandler's common. So if people have played any of the 1.0 releases, these two enemies I think are the same. So that just shows the updated loot tables where these guys both dropped a different common item. So that seems to be working correctly, which is very good. It's one of the things I was working on here the past couple days. I actually had it for a time where I had a bunch of repeat loot tables, and I was getting like 6 different items per item drop, and it was super unbalanced. And then I finally figured it out. Did I change the level up curve of the soul multipliers? I didn't. Not right now. I did not. Ooh, golem armor. Well, I already have uncommon armor. If I'm understanding your question correctly, did I change the level up curve of the souls multiplier on New Game Plus areas? Just because DS1 is abysmal to level up beyond a certain point without duping. Yeah, I could definitely look into that. I think the soul increase I have is 1.2. It's either 20% or 25% for the whole game. And those do stack with the increases in the New Game Plus cycles. So ideally, I finished most of my runs, I don't know, anywhere between like level 80 and 100, depending on how much farming and stuff I do. So in theory, you should gain an extra 10 or 15 soul levels per new game run. But yeah, I can definitely see if, especially if I'm going to add some more New Game Plus stuff, I might go ahead and also modify, excuse me, I can't hit with my soul arrow. I might also modify some of the like New Game Plus, even damage increases by bosses and enemies and stuff like that. But I could definitely look into maybe making soul grinding a little bit easier in later cycles, especially because the difficulty of the game is going to be increased. Another common Eastern Helm, which is not very good for us. I hope everyone's doing well here on this Saturday. Still the morning for me. Almost noon. Hoping that we find some good spells. For spells, I have also kind of arbitrarily assigned some rarities to spells. So, like, you won't just find... What is this? Jump range. You won't just find, like, for example, Dark Bead on a common level drop. So the drop rates for the super strong spells, Dark Bead, Crystal Soul Spear, Chaos Storm, Sunlight Spear, stuff like that. They are also assigned rarities. Again, they're kind of done arbitrarily by me, but they can drop. It's just, you know, some of the more mid-tier stuff will be a little bit easier to find, which I think is going to make more sense. It's funny, I've been playing on 3 times speed and with the enemy AI off. Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, you know, with the way that the stat leveling curves do, like where you basically, I mean, obviously there's some room to grow once you hit the soft caps, but realistically, once you get to 50 in any stat, I mean, there's not a whole lot different in terms of stat-wise going from 50 all the way up to 99. When for regular weapons, it's 40 all the way up to 99. So this is the first mod that I've made. Yep. Right. I mean, in theory, I haven't looked at like where all the souls drops, because there are, and I'm not having a great time. There are 6 tables per enemy in the game. So 5 of them are armor, weapons, and rings, and then the last one is spells, miracles, and pyromancies. So they'll be pretty rare, but you should get a couple here and there throughout your journey. But yeah, this is the first mod I've made. I've changed a couple of things here and there, but as far as a full overhaul, yeah, this is the first one that I've done. And if you do want to get into modding, I definitely say Dark Souls 1 is an excellent place to start, because the tools out there for it are pretty good, from my experience anyhow. I mean, this whole overhaul thing, it's been about... Oh, I got to change that light crossbow to an infusion. That one's just a regular one. This whole overhaul thing is, I don't know, it took me a couple weeks to make. And a lot of that was learning how some of the tools work to actually go through and modify the game. But There's one of the things I gotta rechange. That light crossbow should have had the common level rarity. It didn't, and that's okay. I don't think I've ever tested that one out. So, like that, and there's probably a couple other weapons and pieces of armor here and there. Ooh, leggings of favor, uncommon. Increases potency, sorcery, nice. So I'll tell you, from the first time I played to now, this definitely, I mean, I'm obviously only like halfway through Undead Burg. This feels a lot more balanced. I think the last time I played through the mod in totality, I think at this point in the game I already had like a couple of rare items, maybe some very rare items. So this definitely feels a little bit better so far. Hey, we got a common Drake sword. That's actually not too bad to start off. And we can use it. 200 damage, although we are in fat roll, so could probably get rid of that. Need to drop 4 pounds of weight, more or less. I want to take those off. The leggings of favor are pretty heavy, and we're not really going to be using that right now, so let's throw on the sorcery boots so we can be in mid-roll. But like everybody has done, or a lot of people in the chat right now that have done already, if you play this mod and you want to offer me any feedback, yeah, feel free. You know, YouTube, Discord, on the Nexus page, any of that works for me. And I've already taken into consideration a couple of things, as you'll see here, where I've made some changes. And yeah, I think it's in a pretty good spot. And I hope that I won't be tweaking it too much, because I do want to finish up the Dark Souls 2 project that I've got to get out before the end of the month and over to the backlogs, because I'm doing that Dark Souls 2 one-shot type challenge video that he's hosting. I think he's actually streaming right now. He's doing his 500k celebration, and I didn't realize that he was going to do that this weekend when I was planning on streaming this weekend as well. I'm sure he's all right with me doing this. But I'm in his contest for Dark Souls 2. And then I want to tackle doing something like this for Dark Souls 3, because I really enjoyed Dark Souls 3, and I think that'll be pretty fun, especially because there's quite a bit more effects that I think I'll be able to apply to weapons and stuff in the game. Alright. Drake's sword should be pretty good to help take down the Taurus demon. Some uncommon black leather boots. Status effects, it's not really anything I want. Oh, nice 212 damage. And we get a catalyst and the trident. So there's the first time that we're showing that you can get 1, 2, I think you can get up to 6 drops, but you can get more than 1 drop from every enemy now. And here we got a common and an uncommon. So the Chandler's Trident actually would be pretty good, I think. Though I can't use it, it needs 29 intelligence. And the Ulisio Catalyst, it's already got 156 magic adjust. That's definitely going to be what we want to use for our sorceries. So this has got 109. Yeah, this is already super, super powerful. And it increases our equip load. Does that only apply when it's in your hand, though? 54? 50.4? No, okay. Looks like it's whenever it's in your possession, it seems to apply. That's a mighty fine drop here early in the game. Of course, it won't scale, but it's definitely going to be able to carry us through quite a bit of the game, especially if we can find like a great soul spear. Oh, was it with increased magic attack? I didn't even look at the effect. I just looked at the requirements. Yeah, look at that. And I think the one-handed R2 attack has the 3 hitboxes. So again, one of the changes I made in this mod was every weapon can be buffed. Ooh, we got a rare drop, the Royal Helm. That's kind of a neat drop here. It increases fire damage, which is basically worthless for us. Does have quite a bit more stats, though, in terms of defense. Can I mid-roll this on? I can, and this increases attack. Nope. never mind. I'm in heavy roll with that. But the 3-hit portion of the trident with a weapon buff would probably be really, really strong. So I'm still debating on whether or not I want to have all weapons infusible. Ooh, we got a divine washing pole, very rare. That's a good drop here early. What does that bad boy do? Gradually restores HP. We need a lot of stats, and I'm not really planning on doing a faith build, but if we get some other faith-based stuff, then we can definitely think about maybe pivoting. But I haven't done a magic build yet in this mod, so I do want to try it out just to see how balanced it is, because obviously magic in base Dark Souls is quite powerful. So easy Black Knight kill, no drop, that's alright. So there's a flag in there that specifies whether or not it affects physical attack, which is anything like... I mean, Ricard's Rapier in the base game, when buffed, is pretty busted, because you can buff that in the base game, which I didn't know about till I did my DPS run. But to get back to your point, there's a flag in the code, in the params, that specifies whether or not to affect like physical damage, which means any normal or any elemental damage from your weapon sources. And then there's a flag that you can set so that it affects pyromancies and sorceries, which are kind of the same thing in the game's code, and then miracles. So I am pretty sure that I changed it so that it affects both weapon damage and it affects spell damage. So if I was to offhand that and use, for example, Soul Arrow with a catalyst, it should increase the damage. Again, I'm pretty sure I changed that. It's certainly possible that I didn't, but it's certainly the intent that it would affect even stuff in your offhand, like spells and miracles and whatnot. The attack buff that I have, which I think is on this Drake Sword, that is just for physical type damage. Holy cow. I don't want to die against the Taurus Demon. That's what happens when you're talking while you're playing. Yeah. Ricard's Rapier is quite busted. That's good damage. Go. Easy, boss. Almost died. Ooh, we got a rare Leggings of Thorns, some common Black Knight gauntlets. A couple rares already. That's not bad. Increases lightning damage. Yeah. Not too good. Yeah, I'm very unfamiliar with Nioa, but I guess again some of the comments I've got definitely makes it seem like this is probably a little bit more like how that game works. To be quite honest. Oops, said no to you. I always figured that Ricard's was not buffable because it's got a name, and a lot of the weapons that have names like that, they usually aren't buffable. Alright. Let's get on to the bridge here. Hopefully we don't die to the Drake. Eh, we didn't die. We got hit, but that's alright. It's funny, we got the Drake Sword. We can get another Drake Sword, because that should be a guaranteed drop from his tail when we do the tail cut. I don't think this will kill me. No. Alright, let's get to... I definitely want some more endurance. I kind of want to get to the first soft cap for intelligence, which is 30, before I start leveling up some other stats. So I ain't the greatest Dark Souls player in the world, but I know how to leverage certain things here and there. Make it so that we have, maybe not an easy run, but a good run. I don't think that hit me. No, that's alright. Come on. Go. Yeah. We like Dark Souls 2 here, but it's weird. You go fly away, there you go. Nice soul and claymore. It's just the base infusion, which is alright. Boost attack in danger. So that's one of the effects that I changed. So I think in the 1.0 versions that I have up on Nexus, all of the red tearstone ring effects were basically 0.1 at the common level, and then you gain plus 0.1 per rarity. So a common level RTSR effect weapon or piece of armor would give you like 20% or 10% extra AR. Uncommon would give you 20% extra AR, but I changed that. Now I think they only give about 2.5% extra AR for each rarity level. But the godlike equipment for that type of stuff has actually been increased from the base game or the 1.0 versions. So RTSR effects, I think the godlike stuff in the 1.0 releases, I thought I was going to get the backstab there, were 1.7 times attack when you're at low HP. In this version, I think it's actually 2 times your attack at low HP. Okay, I thought I parried him, but I guess not. So the intent is that if you find a godlike piece of equipment, it's going to be quite a bit stronger and should carry you through the entire run, which is, I think, kind of sensible. You got a mundane Black Knight Greatsword, which I cannot use. I also changed some of the scaling on Twinkling Demon and Dragon Titanite weapons so that they're not quite as strong, because I was playing through the game, and if I got some of those boss weapons or Black Knight weapons, they seem to be just a little bit too strong. A lot stronger than I was fully intending. Okay, I wasn't expecting you to follow me there, buddy. Ooh, only 28 damage. Does a bounce back hit? Enough to get the backstab here. No, you're not going to let me get it. Really? You're not going to let me get the backstab? That's alright. Got him in this loop here. That's fine by me. Should be like one more hit. Maybe 2 more. Classic magic build. I mean, get my Fangborn helm. I don't. It's a base giant shield. Again, people watching who are unfamiliar with it, base just means like a regular infusion. Let's just put it, I just made it base to make it an easier separator, like delineation. I mean, kind of. Anti-weight gloves. I was watching Solar Pellets play, and she got like just a bunch of RTSR stuff, and was basically just 1 or 2 shotting every single enemy in the game, which I don't mind necessarily being able to do that, but you got to get really lucky. And I figured some of the less common stuff should be not quite as strong, so that there's more build variety. So sneaker and talk that. If you get a couple of really good, like legendary, mythical, or godlike pieces of equipment, you're going to want to be wearing all of them. But the actual effects for, if you're curious, so all of the effects, like the boost attack and danger, the RTSR effect, each of those is one effect in the game files. So I ended up creating 7, I think, 6 or 7 different effects for each effect that can be applied to armor or weapons. So that is all to say that if you have 2 weapons or pieces of armor that have the same rarity and same effect, they won't stack in the game. So you can't, for example, get like 5 different godlike pieces of equipment that all have RTSR and basically just kill everything that you sneeze on. Now, you can obviously still get really, really strong, but, you know, I kind of want the game to be maybe not a cakewalk if you get a bunch of really strong items and stuff, but I do want it to be less of a challenge if you happen to get really, really lucky with getting super strong equipment here and there. But realistically, wearing a common, uncommon, rare, very rare of the RTSR effect will roughly be the same as wearing just the red tearstone ring in the base game. I don't remember the exact multipliers, but I think it's around 50 to 70% or something like that. So I don't think it's that strong. Strong for sure, but it's definitely not nearly as strong as at least I'm thinking it otherwise would be. Let's not die here, shall we? Do I have a humanity I can pop? I do. Probably should have been popping those as well, because I want to get my item discovery up. Yeah, so you're right, and the way that I have found, though, is that if you have 2 of the same effect, I don't think they stack. I guess I can't say that with 100% certainty, but as far as I know, you can't have 2 of the same effect that has the same ID active at the same time. I could be wrong, but you know, maybe I'm not. Maybe it is possible to find 6 pieces of godlike equipment and stack them all. And honestly, at that point, you know, if you got all those RTSR effects, I think it'd just be funny. You'd really just be absolutely dominating the game at that stage. Ooh, we got an enchanted obsidian greatsword. Which that actually doesn't require that many stats, although I don't think it's going to be super good. Yeah, maybe I could look at reducing the damage on that. It's pretty high. Was it this? Divine sniper crossbow. This was uncommon, increases attack. So just one very rare piece of equipment right now, which feels more balanced than what I had previously been using. Let's take a look at what Andre has. Yeah, so I gotta fix that one. Yeah, that's kind of my idea too. Crystal longsword, base broadsword. No, you're more than welcome to. I don't, you know, this is initially I made this for me, but yeah, if you want to take it and mess with it, I have no issues with that at all. I'd like to see what you can do with it. No, you know, I didn't know that he was planning to stream this weekend before I had already set up a slot for myself to stream. So I do feel a little bad. But it's not like I don't think I'm going to pull anybody substantial from him. I'm more so streaming this for myself so that if I have a good reference. Let's go. Sorry. Let's go with the crystal longsword. Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, definitely not my intent to compete with Lemon in any fashion, because if you want to go watch his, that's definitely fine by me. Let's use our longsword here. What do I need? I need an extra point at Dex. I don't think I'll be able to take down the Titanite Demon. Increase the damage, it's not bad. Yeah, and I might do that too, to be quite honest with you. And honestly, it wasn't that much work. So the way that I did it was, again, all through just changing CSV files, just using Excel. Basically, I have every effect put into an index. I have every weapon and armor put into an index. And then I have all of these rarities assigned with a different offset value. So like all my special effects, for example, are like 10,000, 10,010, 10,020. So it's really easy to just go through, change or just set up a randomizer and just add plus 10 to all of the effects for all my pieces of armor. And a lot of that stuff stays static throughout the game, like sword IDs, those were changed, the base attack was changed, the scaling values were changed, and the special effects were changed. Outside of that, or the names were changed as well. Outside of that, though, everything was the same. And then editing the item lots were pretty easy, because again, that's just throwing all of the numbers into a list, numbered from like 1 to like 4,000, doing a VLOOKUP in Excel, and just applying those various items into the drop tables. So that's really all it was. It was a little bit tricky to start off, but once I got the hang of it, like all the changes I made for today's mod, maybe took me like, I don't know, 30 minutes to change all my weapon names, weapon effects, armor effects, and loot tables. So modding Dark Souls, if you go onto the Discord server, I think it's server name ? Which is modeled after, or it's kind of named in the same way that items that you were to get in Dark Souls, if they don't have some assigned values. Like one thing I can't fix, actually it looks like it's fixed here. Maybe it's here. So you see here where it says protector info ? Protector info ? Then it says an ID. That's one thing I can't figure out how to do. But if you go into the Discord server that's called ? Server name ? They've got some good tools. This mod was made with the program DS Map Studio, Dark Souls Map Studio, release 1.11.1. Got to get a little bit familiar with some of the verbiage they use, but it was pretty simple. Yeah, I don't get coding stuff. I don't have any real knowledge about anything coding wise outside of the names of some programs. Hey, yeah, thanks for joining. Outside the names of some programs and a couple of different like things that maybe a layman would know. So, got a straight sword and a divine scimitar. Thanks for joining, Vermilion Core. Glad to have you here for this somewhat impromptu stream where I'm testing out my 2.0 release. Everything seems to be working good so far. Just took down Berg. Soulstruct is a little bit different. I don't remember the coding language that DS Map Studio's in, but I will say it is very, very user-friendly, especially with some of the updates that they have made throughout the various releases. So using that, especially as a beginner, learning how to mod was very, very easy. Soulstruct, I think, is a Python-based extension, and it has some tools that are maybe not more helpful, but helpful as well. In editing some things that are a little bit more complex than what you could otherwise do in Dark Souls Map Studio. but it's not as user-friendly. Takes a little bit of getting used to. I've only used it for some like random stuff. Black manchettes. Oh yeah, that would be nice. I was wondering, and I got to figure out how to do this. So the way that I imported, what's new in the 2.0 update? So I'll answer the first question, then I'll get back to your question, unbreakable grass, in just a second. So the one thing I'm wondering is if it's possible or easy to generate a script that it would randomize stuff whenever you were to download the mod, because I think, at least from what I recall, my experience with randomizers is that we died to the Stone Knight. It's able to randomize it like through command prompt or something like that. But the way that I've imported a lot of this stuff, it's CSVs and then JSON files for the text, because I edited those to make it so that all the names of the weapons appear appropriately. But I don't know how to do that, unfortunately. But for the 2.0 version, there are quite a bit of balance changes. Holy cow, that guy did a lot of damage to me. Some of this way that the enemies scale are a little bit different. So I think I have maybe increased some of the early game stuff compared to the 1.0 releases. And I think I've decreased some of the scaling compared to the 1.0 releases for the late game areas. One of the biggest changes is that now every enemy in the game has 6 different lists of weapons and armor and spells that they can drop. So whereas before every enemy could only drop 7 different items, armor, rings, or weapons, and they could only drop 1 per rarity level. Now every enemy in the game should be able to drop up to 5 different types of item at various different rarity levels. So like these demonic foliages, I think is what they're called in the game, they can drop one of 6 different common items. So you won't just be getting the same repeat after repeat for all the common items that you'll find throughout your journey. And then spells and miracles and pyromancies have been added to the drop tables. They are a little bit more rare than an item drop, but with the cumulative rarity chances, I think they're about half as likely as an item drop. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact numbers I set. But enemies should drop stuff like maybe 1 out of every 10 times, 1 out of every 20 times, depending on your item discovery now. So yeah. So all of the weapons and stuff, they all have the same IDs. But so it's kind of interesting. So I have 2 different Excel files for my weapons and 2 different Excel files for my armor. For future mods, I'm definitely going to combine them all into one. But one controls like the name and the effect, and then the other controls all of the description. So the stuff that you'll see when I open up this and look at this page right here, where it says the weapon type, attack type, and then the armor, weapon, or ring description. So in hindsight, I probably should have combined those into one, but it's kind of too late now. Could use the claymore. The longsword's still a little bit better. But if I was setting up this stuff nowadays, I would make it a lot cleaner. And maybe it would be a lot easier to have somebody just download a file that would randomize it for them, and then just have them run that so that no 2 people would be playing the exact same seed. I'm not super concerned about it. Again, I'm going to plan to upload a few different starting seeds if everything seems fine in this one, which might be done today, might be done tomorrow, depending on whether or not I find some errors. Yeah, Branchianite. Yeah. Sorry, I gotta focus here. Oh, that missed me, huh? I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Problem is, I don't necessarily want to say it's a problem. Yeah, I guess if you merge them both, it should be fine because Excel, it'll read from your personal C drive. Voice crack. I was doing play-by-play for a high school football game last night, so my voice isn't as strong as it usually is. Okay, I didn't expect that to kill me. But I was thinking, yeah, I got all my files that reference a file that has my C drive on it, so. But again, unlike an item randomizer, I gotta think there'll be more than enough variety because, obviously you could get the same items and people that play the same seed will probably get similar, like common and uncommon, maybe even rare drops as a different player. But all of the higher tier weapons and armor and rings and whatever that they find, I would think that there would be some pretty significant deviation between one person and the other. So I don't remember the number off the top. I think it's a 1 in like 4,000 chance for a godlike now. Maybe it's 1 in 2,000. I can't remember. I was looking at the numbers. I've changed them like 7 different times because I can't come to a good place. So I keep being like, well, this is a little too rare. And I'm like, well, this isn't rare enough. No, yeah, I mean, randomizing all that stuff, I think if I merge it into the same file and then just do it that way, it should be pretty easy. Because everything is all randomized. My thing was, I don't exactly know how to make it so that the names would be correct, because all of that stuff is stored in just like basic text editors. Ooh, we got a common RTSR. So when I go to import that into my param files, I have to manually go in, just copy down all of these cells from the Excel file, paste them into the text file, and then just import them through DS Map Studio. And that process only takes like 30 seconds at most. I'm just not entirely sure how to do it so that that would be edited if somebody were to write a script. Because importing CSVs into DS Map Studio, no problem. And I gotta think that importing text files would be super easy as well. I just don't know how to do that, so I can't say that with 100% certainty. Because unlike a randomizer where it just randomizes like enemy lots, this also changes. It's like 4,000 different text entries, which sounds like a lot. It's really not that much, to be honest. But it's just one for every item in the game, because each rarity of weapon is technically a new ID in the game's files. So if you can figure out how to do it, I would love to make it so that this would be randomized for every player upon startup. Let's see, got some uncommon stuff. Just having some issues with these guys up here, and their drops being super high. Like they would drop me like 5 items at a time, but it does not seem to be the case anymore, which is great. Ooh, we got a rare steel legging. What do those do? Magic defense, lightning damage. This is more souls. I'm always a big fan of getting extra soul drops. Go. Channeler, no drop from him. I should be strong enough to take down the gargoyles? Question mark. Is there anything? Fire damage. I mean, gosh, this has so much defense. I honestly might just poise tank these bad boys. Especially boosting HP. Well, that's more than I've done because I've never coded before in my life. I kind of just want to poise tank through the gargoyles. I have a good helmet that I can wear. Yeah, it's fire damage. Fire defense. Stamina and stamina regen won't be too bad. Also, look at the drip. Whew, this guy is swagged out right here. But yeah, I've never coded at all before. Anything that I've done has just been through Excel, which isn't even really a coding language, just most people know. I have zero experience in anything comp sci related. Okay, I don't think you had your shield up there, buddy, but if the game wants to say that he did, that's fine. Yeah, that's still a lot of damage. Might have been a counter hit, so. Yeah, we could probably throw on an Eastern Helm instead. Just go get this humanity, up our defense even more, keep increasing that drop rate. Yeah, I wanted to learn how to do, I don't know, I was looking into Python, doing like just an online course at some point, just to kind of learn some of the basics for stuff like this. I don't have the time nowadays, to be quite honest, with my regular job, and then now doing some YouTube stuff where I'm still trying to put up some content here and there, although I've definitely slowed down a little bit, which is probably for the better. But maybe one day if I find myself with some more free time than I have right now, I might go ahead and learn something. It sucks because back in university, I don't think they offered anything like that to people who aren't in the program that for the school that I went to. Could be wrong. Ooh, look at that. He got his tail cut right away. Yeah, you just can't poise through that, huh? I don't know about the hitbox there, game. Definitely not my cleanest gargoyles fight that I've ever done. And we died, alright. And my weapon is not very good. I want to find a better one. Let's see with this tail axe. We need 16 dex for that too. Can't use any of my good stuff yet. Try the claymore for the fight. That might be a little bit better. Could go pick up the wolf ring, although what's my poise at right now? 55. Really? I thought it was going to be higher than that. I don't have any. Oh, I do have humanity. Well, I need to pick up my other humanity so that I can kindle. Believe me, guys, I'm not that bad at the gargoyles fight. I swear I've played this game before. Nice running attack with the claymore. It's a thing of beauty. I mean, I have the original CSVs. That's not a big deal. But basically, excuse me. All that I did was if you go into DS Map Studio and do export to file, that's just how I did it. It was a really simple process. Go. Giant leaves. Are those better than what we've got? No, probably not. Alright, let's go see. And see if I can't actually kill the gargoyles. Do I have a HP regen? So boss souls have just been eliminated. Just kind of outright. I could use a shield, actually. So bosses now drop their weapons, basically. Can I use this one-handed? I can. And I could throw on a shield. So for like the Moonlight Butterfly, for example, you will get the Moonlight Butterfly horn instead of the Moonlight Butterfly soul. And then as you progress further and further, you will get rarer versions of those weapons. Can't even use that. Can I use the Night Shield one-handed? I can. Yeah. So I think Quelags is uncommon. I think Iron Golem might be uncommon as well. And then ONS I think should be rare, maybe? Can't remember exactly how I set them all up. It's just like no damage. Yeah, I should do. Should get my Soul's Homeward Bone out. I should come back with a better setup. But I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Let's hot swap to the Claymore. Really, that hit me. Right, I swear I'm not bad. Oh yeah, that's good damage. Might get a little bit of a stun here, that'd be nice. Man, that fire has deceptive range. Boy, I'm really struggling against the Belfry Gargoyles, huh? The Gargoyles, Belfries in DS2. Alright, let's stop being silly, shall we? Let's put on a better weapon. This does bleed. I think the gargoyles can bleed. Honestly, I should probably just stop doing this and go to light load and just use spacing to win. But I'm stubborn and I like being in I like being in fat load in Dark Souls 1. Trying to poise tank my way through things. It's funny. But the damage drop off is just so bad. Go. Can't you ask this, buddy? In fact, let's do that. Let's stop being silly, shall we? What do you do? Attack when in danger. Damage, attack. Can be in light load. Okay, okay. This is 145. We can do stealth. 156 in a quick load. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I don't know why I'm being stubborn and trying to like do like a heavy load thing. I should just be doing something like this. But I mean, you're probably not wrong. Like if I just use the Drake Sword instead. mean, it's got 200 damage. It's pretty light. And if I'm in light load, this should be quite a bit easier. That's my durability on it. 293. I'll tell you though, I'm really looking forward to doing this in Dark Souls 3 because I think there's going to be quite a bit of variety that I can introduce to that game. Ooh, that's good damage. Okay, don't get me wrong, I like Dark Souls 1, but my original plan was to do this first in Dark Souls 3, but I figured that probably starting with DS1 was going to be a little bit easier. Go. Let's heal up. Oh, there's one more hollow chasing me. Classic Drake Sword versus the Gargoyles, though. That's how you gotta do things. It's too bad I didn't get the Black Knight sword from the Undead Burg. Okay, that's... I honestly should have been using this at the start. For certain. Holy cow. Really? They got me on the swing around, huh? Ugh. This is embarrassing. It's damaging my credibility as a Souls content creator. It gets me into medium load. There we go. Run light load here. Yeah, that's way better. Sometimes, I don't know what it is about this mod, because you might have seen it if you watched the video that I did, where I was late game and I was just in fat roll. I don't know what it is, but it's like, oh man, I want to be using the best armor possible, and I want all the effects that I can stack. Hey, thanks for stopping by. If you want, on the Discord server, I can throw up the CSVs. I don't know if you care to look at them or not. I don't know if I'll ever do like a randomizer that people can use on their own machines. Again, I'm probably just going to go ahead and upload a few different seed files, but yeah. One death equals one push-up. It's funny because I don't know how many times I died in the video that I put out for this, but it really wasn't that many. Like I died a couple times for certain, but it wasn't like a crazy amount. What's my durability at? Still got a few uses. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by the stream. Getting a bit of an impromptu stream here this morning. Wanted to show off my 2.0 because I think it's more balanced. Can't quite get as powerful super early. All right, let's go do this. Let's stop messing around. I hate how he just jumps away after you break his tail. There we go. That was like 10 times easier. Twin humanities. Nice, nice, nice. Nice 10k souls. What are you doing? Let's go magic damage. I want souls. Yeah. So much for me messing around with sorcery and heavy load and stuff like that. Take this off. They're still in heavy load. That's fine. Clearing out areas might be a little bit better when I'm using fat load, especially early game Dark Souls 1. Oops, CO catalyst. That's a fit and a half right there. Nice skirt, some samurai armor, top hat. First bell. Let's head back down. Could probably go kill the butterfly. In fact, let's make that our next priority. Because if I'm using magic damage anyway, let's pump some vitality. Maybe that's the reason I kept dying. If I'm going to be using a magic build, having a primarily magic-focused melee weapon might not be a bad idea. The Moonlight Butterfly Horn is a decent weapon, depending on what infusion I get. Right. Let's plan on doing that. Oh yeah, that's still really good damage. Chain leggings uncommon. Hoping we get a mythic or a legendary drop here. That would be nice. Nothing there. Just poised through that, I think. Base whip common. Ooh, we got a rare Chaos Silver Knight Shield. Let's take a look at that bad boy. Technically, I could use it and it increases fire damage. I don't think that would be great, but let's see what our AR is. 206. I mean, technically that's higher than the Drake Sword, which is only 200. But I don't know if it's going to be better or not. It does have the increase in fire damage, so it might be somewhat comparable, maybe a little bit worse. Let's go ahead. Let's get some kindling here. Just because Darkroot is a little bit interesting. It's scaled higher than I think I realize sometime and people realize sometime. Like, I think Undead Burg is technically... There's 15 levels of scaling. I think Undead Burg is 2, and I think this area is 5. If I remember properly. That's pretty good damage with the shield. Shield's not the most range on these bad boys. Could always block though. That's something I forgot about. And I think that... Oh, I died. Problem is, you know, almost everything that does fire damage doesn't scale or is pyromancy, which is just nutty on how strong that is. So, I think there's some things that are in this game, in this mod, that have fire damage and will scale, like mundane damage. Which is everything, does all 4 damage types, and scales with all 4 stats. Technically scales because apparently the way it works is I always thought that fire damage just didn't scale with anything, but I guess any elemental damage just scales with either faith or intelligence, and it doesn't matter what type of damage it is. Just anything that is non-physical damage will scale with either faith or intelligence. Oh, weapon is at risk. Oh no. Yeah, it's tough to get going because of the way the damage formula works. Like here, obviously I can't use this right now, but it only does like 80-ish of the 3 different attack types. So it's funny, but it's definitely more like maybe not intended for use in New Game Plus, but I think it's probably going to be better in like New Game Plus iterations. Let's use Crystal Longsword. Indeed it is. One thing I don't know why I didn't realize this before either, but the way that... Holy cow, this does no damage. The way that humanity works, it's basically like luck in... Man, this is... I need a better weapon. It's basically like luck in Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3. Because the way that humanity scaling works is it's basically just a small multiplier to your fire and physical damage. And it's actually not fire damage. It's elemental damage and physical damage. It's a small multiplier to both of those. Up to like 1.3, I think, at 10 humanity. And then, of course, humanity also affects your drop rate, which is tied to luck. So just kind of like a reused asset. Man, this is a this is a tricky area. I might just run past everything and get the Moonlight Butterfly, to be honest with you. You can also see what the Elite Knight armor set is rocking. Say Partisan here. But I think I'll skip that for now. Don't necessarily want to go dex heavy. I do need some better sorceries, so hopefully I can take down the Moonlight Butterfly in short order. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely gonna throw off some of this stuff. Let's get our best magic blocking shield, which will be the base cracked shield, I think. Wooden shields are good magic blocking stuff. One thing I like about this mod too is it really emphasizes wearing different outfits as you go throughout the game. Like wearing Chester's top hat and the antiquated skirt. It's certainly an interesting look. I was just like matching armor sets. Ah, yes, good old farming humanities. You gonna land there, buddy? Come on. Come on, land already, will ya? Go, get some decent damage in maybe. Yeesh. That's not a lot of damage. And the longsword's better. Yeah, longsword's probably a little better. Is there anything better? I don't think so, which is the problem. This will just be a long fight. Should be easy, but long. I have black fire bombs? I do. Could use those once I get a little bit further in the fight. I want to say the Moonlight Butterfly, the first time I fought it, and my first ever playthrough, took me like 15 tries. So I could just not stop getting hit by those 3 little homing magic missiles. It's the easiest way to block, or the easiest way to dodge them is to unlock, of course, and dodge horizontally along the bridge. Sorry, I'll look at that question in just a second. Come on, land, will ya? Yeah, this is just not very good damage. Let's get away. Nice miss. Oh, come on. Really? That's good damage. Just wasted a bunch of black fire bombs, though. I'm an idiot. That's a long fight for a sorcerer build. I think we got him. You're like the first person I think I've ever seen that likes the DS2 lock-on system. I hate it. Alright, Moonlight Butterfly down. Base Moonlight Butterfly, Horn uncommon. I think it's easy to change that. I'm not 100% sure though. It's probably just a state thing. That probably shouldn't have physical damage. I don't know why that has physical damage. But we could use that for a while. Yeah. I like the later game system with the lock-on. Yeah, this I think I need to change this so that it doesn't have any physical damage anymore. That should be something real easy. In fact, I can do that real quick. I'm pretty sure that the equip load thing is probably pretty easy to set. So let me change this Moonlight Butterfly horn real quick. Moonlight Butterfly horn. He is common. 0. And was it rare one maybe? Not entirely sure what happened when I added the base physical damage, because that's obviously not intended. Go. Just gotta reopen the game right quick. So changes like that, that's really easy. It takes like 5 seconds to do. Let's see. I am curious whether or not the equipment is heavy roll stuff is just a hard-coded effect, or if it uses what's called an EMEVD file, which is basically reads a variable in the code and then changes it. True, it could use the Leo ring now. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you with the light load stuff. You know, medium load in Dark Souls 1 is pretty bad, all things considered. So maybe updating it would be a little better. But I think this is better. Yeah, there we go. So easy as that. So let's see how good this bad boy does. I also like the model. This thing's also super big. This doesn't have one of the funky little R2s. Let's go. Gosh, I don't even know what the level here. A couple more levels in health is probably not a bad idea. Yeah, refreshing the ultimate gaming experience. And I'll tell you, for my time on the Souls modding Discord, there are some very impressive people that know what they're doing out there. Like making dynamic game parameters, like things that update based on random variables in your game, things like that. I want to try doing that. I think it'd be funny to have an effect on items that read how much HP you have, and then depending on what level of HP you're at, they would change their effect. Because I think that would be fairly easy to do if I understand how the coding languages work for those specific types of files in the game's code. But that'd be funny. Or like you could read like how much stamina you have left. So after you do an attack and you use like 50 stamina, like all of a sudden you're doing 20 times more damage. And then as your stamina slowly regenerates, like you do less damage. And then maybe you heal for like 10 HP and stuff like that. Hey, speaking of the Leo ring, how about that? Yeah, I'm glad. Hopefully, if you've played it, you enjoy it. Again, 2.0 should be up on Nexus right now. There's still a couple things that need to be ironed out. Like if you play right now and you go fight the Moonlight Butterfly, you will get the same Moonlight Butterfly horn that has some physical damage on it, which I will update at some point, probably this afternoon, maybe tonight. But I mean, you could always just avoid using it. Right, but I mean, like if you're at 1 HP, maybe it could be even greater boost than if you're at like 20%. And again, if I'm understanding what other people say on that server, it should be easy enough to try and do that. I don't have any familiarity with it yet. That and I picked up another weapon. What was it? The light cross or the crossbow in, ooh, we have Divine Black Knight Halberd. Fortunately, I don't do a faith build. The crossbow in Undead Burg. I got to fix that as well. Let's take a look at this halberd, shall we? I mean, I guess if we get 20 dex and enough strength to be able to, it could be pretty good. But changing some stuff like RTSR to be dynamic, where it would be a bigger boost if you're at like under 10% HP or something. That might be something that I look into at some point. Probably not for this mod, though. I think one of the things I didn't want to do in this mod is stray too far away from the base game. We got some Brave Warrior Souls. We could probably get a couple levels here. Yeah, I think if I understand what you're saying right. Let's see. Have I been able to incorporate the multiple tiers of rarity dropping randomly rather than the prefixed rarity tiers on static drops in character creation? So all the static stuff is still fixed rarity. I can't find a way to change that, unfortunately. At least not to my knowledge. But it's you know, if I were to do it so that I wrote a script to change how the weapons were generated at runtime, like whenever you ran a program to kind of install the mod, so to speak, which is not how it works right now, but kind of like how the item randomizer does it, that would be a possibility. I just don't have enough knowledge on how to do that to make that a reality, unfortunately, right now. Come on. Oh, stuff when he does his buff. So, to answer your question, no, everything that is static is going to be the same every time you play it, unfortunately, because I just don't know that there's a way to actually make that random. So Occult, I changed how that works slightly. So every level of rarity, let me get this repost on Hava real quick so I don't die while I'm trying to explain something. Come on, buddy. Come on, Havel. Go. Oh, I guess I should have been unlocked for that, huh? There we go. Occult. So Occult and what's the other one? Divine. They all scale with rarity as well. So divine, you see here, the very rare is the 4th tier of rarity. So it is an extra 10% per rarity level. So stuff that are just default, I don't have it. That might be a decent idea. Like, I don't know if I would make it multiplicative or just additive. Like, I don't know if I would multiply if I found an occult or divine. I don't remember which Velka's does. Velka's rapier. Like, I don't know if I would say at the very rare tier it would be 1.4 times 1.4, or maybe I could just do like 2 times the value. So again, for the divine washing pole, it's 1.4. If I found a weapon that also had that effect by default, maybe I could just double it for those so that they're a little bit stronger if you were to find one of those. But a god like divine or occult will do an extra 70% damage against those respective enemies. So let's head down up into Lower Undead Burg. So that way, if you know, I think it encourages weapon switching. Like if you have, say for example, a very rare, yeah. If you have a very rare, like a cult weapon and I think legendary is above very rare, divine weapon, but you're facing stuff that's weaker to occult, then you're probably going to want to go with the occult infusion instead of the divine, even though the divine might have an extra, I don't know, 10% damage or something along those lines. Yeah, I would love to have it randomized, similar to how the enemy drops are randomized. I don't know how to do that. I really wish I did, but it's just not something that I know, and that's okay. Like this mod is certainly close to what I was thinking about when I had the idea to make it. Yeah, I think both of them are occult, right? Smo and Ornstein. I think they are. Gwendolyn is, and Gwyn is. There's no bosses that are weak to divine. And then the 4 kings are weak to the Abyss Greatsword. And I think there's Black Knight weapons, of course, are stronger against demon type enemies. And those also do increase with rarity level. So if you find a godlike Black Knight weapon, it will do an extra 70% damage against demon type enemies. So be some stuff that are going to be much stronger situationally. Ooh. Uncommon stone plate ring. Doesn't really do much for us. Let's go down and face off against ye old Capra Demon. This one is probably something that I'm going to poise tank through, because that's a good strategy against Capra. And honestly, I could throw on some heavy stuff right now. Let's see, what's some good gauntlets? Sorcery. Go Elite Knight gauntlets. None of these really do anything. Yes, those are status effects. Not bad. Go. Oops. Just common gloves. I think I bought the key, right? Yeah. Let's go save Griggs, so we can unlock ourselves a spell vendor. Oh, you know, I need to change that back to the Sorcerer Catalyst. Yeah, I did think about one of the New Game Plus effects is to have a weapon that would deal extra damage to all different types of enemies. Maybe one of the blacksmith hammers could do like an extra 10% damage to every single class of enemy in the game. Or maybe just something random. I don't know. I don't want to get too crazy with some of the effects. You know, I kind of want this to mostly resemble base game stuff. Because if you think about it, it's mostly just like kind of not upgrading your weapons and just having an additional few ring slots. So that's kind of what this mod plays like. Go. Yeah, I've never played Armored Core. I wanted to originally when it came out back, was it this summer or was it last year? I don't remember. I think it was last summer. I don't remember when they came out. I wanted to play it, but I never got around to doing it. Yeah, no problem. I'm actually almost, I think after Capra, I'm probably going to be done. My voice is kind of going. Again, I called some play-by-play for my high school last night for football. And my voice is kind of going. Might not be able to hear, but I'm starting to feel it. Plus, I don't want to give too much away. This was mainly just to kind of advertise that 2.0 is out. If you like what you see. Oh my goodness, look at that. We got a rare Smo's hammer. Oh, I might instead pivot my entire build to that. But we need a absurd amount of strength. Holy cow. But yeah, this is mainly just to kind of advertise that 2.0 is out. If you like what you've seen so far, feel free to go download and give it a shot. I'm sure I'll have some more updates here over the next few days. And then once I get every single bug ironed out, which I don't think there are too many. Again, I just saw a couple of pieces of equipment so far that need to be changed to actually have effects. I will go ahead and upload some variants on the mod itself so that there will be some variation when you download it. And everything won't be the same every time you play it in terms of like static drop and whatnot. Come on. Capra. Ooh, we got a drop. Nice, nice. Yeah, me neither. And honestly, 2.0 is pretty close to the definitive. So whatever's up there right now is... Ooh, we got a Tin Darkmoon Catalyst. And we got Fire Goff's Great Bow. Whatever's up right now is pretty close, I think, to what a finalized version will be. So I think there will definitely be some minor tweaks here and there, but if you were to go and download it right now, I think you'll have a grand old time. So I think this will call it for me. Thanks for joining me on this hour-and-a-half stream. Again, appreciate everybody that joined in on kind of impromptu thing. Again, if you want to play, go to Nexus. The link should be in the stream description. Some changes will be made here and there, and then again, I'll upload some seeds so that if you want to play through and have different static drops, that's something you can do, and have different weapon drops as well. So appreciate everybody being here. Also look forward to some meme seeds. Like I might upload one where everything that you get is nothing but the godlike tier. I might upload something that has like enemy scaling just crazy, like 10x or something like that. But those will come at a later date. So again, thanks everybody for being here. Hope you enjoyed, and I probably have a new YouTube video sometime towards the start of November once I am done with Lemon's contest. Until then, we'll see you next time.